Good morning, friends, brothers, and sisters. Welcome to FYI. For your information, it is the 6th day of October already, believe it or not, and we got quite a few things to cover this morning. Wherever you're joining us from, thanks for making us one of those stops on the way to where you're going. We know some folks are coming in from work, some are heading out, some are in between places, but we're happy that you're here with us. Share the line, smash that emoji button. We got a lot of share with you. It's not going to be a good day for the PPP at all because the lies are catching up with them. Folks, I say again, the People's Progressive Party Civic in Guyana, lies catching up with them. That's one of the things we're going to be discussing this morning, and we're just happy to have so many of you already joining us here on the live. Do let us know if you're hearing us clearly, if you're seeing us clearly. That is our desire, to be heard and to be seen as clear as possible, folks. And we are happy to have all of you here with us. The lies, catching up with them. We're going to be talking about some of that this morning, folks. As you come on, share the live, smash that emoji, but not share the lies, like the PPP. They're sharing a lot of lies. The People's Progressive Party Civic in Georgetown, Guyana, they are sharing a lot of lies. We want you guys, and we encourage you, beautiful, lovely, peace-loving folks, to share the live stream, folks. Smash that emoji button, guys. We got a lot to share with you this morning, and we want to head on right into that. What are you guys having this morning? What are you sipping on? Got some lovely stuff at this end, good folks. Lovely stuff at this end. I wish you could share with you, folks. You got to come closer. Share that live. Smash that emoji button, folks. The many of you who are joining us from around the world. Lennox Anderson, I see you there. Lynn Fernandez is here with us as well. Good to have you, Lynn. I see we got Winella Garnett is here too. Good to have you, Winella Garnett. And those are the places and pages that we are streaming through. Good morning to the folks who are joining us on Twitter and Facebook, Meta's Blue app, Facebook. Those of you joining us on the Tube, our tubers, a good morning to you folks as well. A very, very good morning to you guys as well. We got a lot to cover this morning, good folks. We got a lot to cover, and we're starting off with that press conference yesterday. We started off with that press conference yesterday. Ellen Austin, good morning to you. And Fallon Anthony, we see you there. Onessa Wardine, we see you there too. And Sandra and Shelly Durida, good morning to you guys. Share the live if it comes up at your end, folks. Smash that emoji button and partner with us. The vex with us, They vex with us because if it was up to them, we'd be off air already. But because we don't run to them to ask for anything. But we say to you guys, partner with us via Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union. And because we have the facilities now to even accept your credit and debit cards, they vex with us, folks. They vex with us. Yeah, they vex with us. But before we get into all that, folks, and all that good stuff, if you're heading into the city, before we get into the politics of the morning, if you're heading into the city, guys, and you need a good justice of the peace, a good commission of votes to affidavits, as a matter of fact, for all of your documentation needs, the Allister Collins firm, they do an excellent job. We use them ourselves. Got to go and see him just now. Got to go and see him quite soon. We recommend them highly because we use them. We know they have an efficient service. Folks, I step into this office the other day. I wonder if I'm foreign. I see some aroma thing bubbling up, a lovely odor, sweet smell. I hear some classical music playing in the background. I feel like I'm still foreign. I tell you, they really work hard to take up the service. They're right there, nothing foreign. Well, in the foreign Lamaha Street, at the Callion Mall between Camp and Waterloo Street. They're closer to Waterloo than they are to Camp. The Callion Mall is right there on the ground floor. You go in and you ask for that. Right there on the ground floor, the Callion Mall. Fantastic service. Excellent people. Fantastic team. We recommend them highly. Folks, we recommend them bigly. That being said, a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Stacey and Stoll, we see you there. Camille Cox out of Region 9, we see you there, Camille, as well. And all of the other folks joining us this morning, we are simply privileged to have all of you around the breakfast table this morning. Good to see you, folks. We hope you started the day with something solid, All right? We hope you started the day with something solid. I see Margaret Nelson is with us, and Margaret says, Sharon, this is soft music for me. It always works. I went in and I won't stay long. I said, I had to tell the girl, look, I won't breathe down your neck. I can come back. Because I done second being there whole day. Soft, lovely music playing in the background. Chopin, Tchaikovsky, Paganini, something in the background there. And then I could see these little things giving off a nice odor. You can see the mist going up in the air. I said, what story is this here? I feel like I had a spa. This is not a JP's office. The typical JP office, little thingish, little pull down and pull in. You know how. You know how. But these people operate in the third world, but they don't have a third world mentality. And they try to up the service. They try to up the game. And that's why I recommend it. Any place I go in that's nice. That's why I recommend Margaret House. Nice time, nice food, nice drinks and so on. I recommend Margaret's House nicely. Yeah. Real nice time I go in. I say it's a spa. I had to pinch myself and say it's a JP office yet here. A commissioner of votes, Stafford Davis office. This place feels spa like any minute I expect the woman hand on my shoulder. Said, all right, Mr. Duncan, just let it go. I can take a good line down right now too. I want a bathe. I want a night. I want a hot stone. Folks, listen to me. Hold on. Y'all better treat yourself properly. I mean, it's been a little while since I had a good massage. And I am not good at it. It's something my wife fight me for. She loves to feel my hand on her. Love it. But I don't think I'm any good at it. So I'm going to get a professional people to help us. See, her and I went one time, had a lovely hot stone massage. You see, when you finish treating yourself properly, you feel like you could take over the world. Y'all better treat yourselves properly. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you. Treat yourselves properly. I love it. I saw Margaret, as she on here, I'm seeing her name in the comment section, and her husband went down to New York, left the South, gone down like 16-year-olds, having a nice time. Treat yourself properly. Stop beating up yourself and knocking about the place. Please and thank you. Stop knocking about it. Treat yourselves well, folks. Right? I'm happy that those folks down there, the Allister Collins firm, they're not only treating themselves properly, but they're treating their customers and clients well also. I recommend them highly. And listen, folks, I say this all the time. I see Elizabeth Narayan. Well, once I see Margaret and Elizabeth, the show lock off now. It's now the show start. If you have a business in Guyana, I give you one piece of advice. One piece of advice. You have a business in Guyana, one piece of advice I give you. You have to aim big and thing, Look at the market. Look at what the market is offering. And you could only give, you could go just 1 inch above that and you could sell off. Look at what the market is offering. And this is all stratas of business. All them lawyers' office look the same. If you go 1 inch above the market, you can distinguish yourself. I remember when Omiana Hamilton was here. She didn't fly away yet. I didn't even think she'd marry out. I think she'd marry out. Former magistrate Omiana Hamilton. First time I stepped into her office, I was like, wow. You feel like you're in a lawyer's office. Some of them lawyers' offices run down and pull in. Oh, 1 inch above what the market is offering, and you could corner the market. 1 inch above that. And I think that is what these guys do at the Allister Collins. I mean, we didn't start to talk about that, but they just hit me recently when I went in there. This aroma, the soft music playing. Any minute now, I intend to hear somebody say, put up your foot there, to take off your shirt, lie on your back or your chest or something like that. And it's this spa. Folks, you gotta treat yourselves well. Good to see Ryan Pilgrim, Beatrice Selby, Urban Don, Chamili, Simone Williams, Marilyn Jacobs, Kyle and Sheena on the live this morning. We got a lot to share with you folks. We're coming in from that press conference yesterday. We're still reeling from that press conference from yesterday, good folks. Still reeling from that. Your old boy said the people didn't even went to Washington. He said they went to Capitol Hill on a tour. They meet with nobody. That's what he said. I'm telling you what the fella said. He said it was a tour. They didn't meet with nobody. Folks, as if you hang your hat on these people hat stand, you can put yourself in problems. I'm telling you, good folks, you're going to put yourself in problems. You see? You're going to put yourself in some serious problems. You got to know to think for yourself and so on. Give us a quick sec. We're crossing some I's and we're dotting some T's in this sense. You got to know to think for yourself. How these boys going to put you, as we used to say, in the good old days, you're going to put you in cow belly crossway. When last you heard that? Elizabeth? When last you heard that? They can put you in cow belly crossway. And you won't even be able to catch yourself. When these boys finish with you. Folks, as I say this, you got to know yourself out here, you know. Don't expect them to know you for you. You got to know yourself out here. Because Judge, you came out yesterday, and how he talked, you could think he went at Washington the same time. The man swear. You know, you kiss your hand and throw it up in the air. He swear this thing never happened. Them boys never went to Washington. For no serious purpose. He said they went on tour. Folks, heaven help us in this country. He said they went on tour. Folks, well, look, I'm going to show you why you can't trust people this morning. I'm going to show you definitively. And I want to start talking to you. I want to hold for some of the PPP followers to come and supporters to come. You know, we love when they come back. We love all peoples of this world. We love all peoples of this world. Right? We don't discriminate. We don't segregate. We don't any hate. We love all peoples of this world. That's what I'm telling you. Dotting a couple more I's, crossing a couple more T's, folks, and we're gonna be right with you. But while we do that, hear what the fella said yesterday. He said they went for no real purpose in the touring. They're touring. Take a look, take a listen.
And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it. I think them are waves or something. And they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference. And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it. I think them are waves or something. And they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference. And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it. I think them are waves or something. And they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference.
Folks, we played it a couple times for you. We played it a couple times for you because we wanted to sink in. What vice president of a whole country, not of a corner shop, even though they're running it like a corner shop. Vice President of a whole country came out yesterday in a press conference and said, now, I don't know about you folks, but I come up in the old school of Elizabeth and Lynette Hall. I come up in the old school. And they taught us, if you can't appear, must disappear. But clearly, Jack didn't have them kind of brought-ups men. He did not have those kind of brought-ups men. So he liked to appear, even though what he should be really doing is disappearing acts. You remember that film with Wesley Snipes? Only big people gonna know that. You remember that? Disappearing acts? Fantastic, fantastic film. You can't appear, disappear. Now that is the genre of our revolution. Old school. Old school. Look, we need an old school back again, you know. And I can show you why just now. Hold on. We on them boys in the press conference for the time being. We on them boys and the press conference for the time being. So let me detain you here for a little bit before we rush on to why we need the old school. We on them boys in the press conference. Again, folks, we played it a couple times so that you understand and it sinks in. Elizabeth Howard, Elizabeth Norine, Kyle Bino, Audrey Stevens. What he said, they went for no conference, really and truly. They went sightseeing. It was a tour they went on. Leslie Charles, you heard that? Belinda, you heard that? Jacqueline, you heard that? Leslie Charles, Aubrey Stevens, did you hear that? You know, I realize a lot of folks who watch our programs, the big. You might get a little hearing problem, whatever it is. I want to play it back again. Take a listen.
And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it. I think them are waves or something. And they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference.
So, folks, hours after that, I don't know if it was 1 hour, Evelyn Abramala, P.R. Leacock, I know if it's 2 hours, but a couple of hours after that, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries' office released details of the meeting of this tour. Released details of this tour of Capitol Hill, right? That apparently himself and other congressmen organized. What's the meeting? Was a tour. The congressman office released, let me pull it to the side so you see more of this. Release photographs and other details that I want to get you. You heard him in his own deliberate judgment. And he knew what he sat down there telling you and other folks yesterday afternoon was a lie. He knew that. But this is the nature of the beast we're dealing with. This is it. How can you ever trust anything that comes out of his mouth? Right? So this is the kind of tour that when you go to Capitol Hill, they put your name and so on placeholders on the table. This usher you in the conference room. It's a kind of special tour. They sit down at the table and talk with you. It's a kind of special tour, right? That the delegation of the parliamentary opposition in Guyana had at Capitol Hill last week. This conference, this Washington conference on Guyana, hit them for 6. Hit them for 6. And they're still trying to recover it. If you want to know how far it hit them, check our program last evening. It hit them back to 1992. back to 1992. So this is the special tour that the opposition had in Capitol Hill, where they sat down opposite congressmen of the United States of America Congress and laid out a number of issues. Mr. Jackie says, it didn't happen. He said it did not happen. He said, what you're seeing here is a tour. It's not my words. I am saying what the fellow said. He said was a tour. Didn't I play that for you? He said was a tour. This thing didn't happen. For those of you who are now joining us, allow us please to circle back to that. This meeting never happened, was a tour. Listen to him in his own words.
And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it, I think them are waves or something, and they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference. And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it, I think them are waves or something, and they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference. And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw the pictures of them walking through like tourists through the Capitol Hill. Now, Capitol Hill, anybody can go there. You can go there, you buy a ticket and you go in. You can walk through those halls. They allow tours, conducted tours. And that's what they did. Like they had a lot of conducted tours on the corridors. They were snapping pictures. Then they came down on I saw an image of it, I think them are waves or something, and they stood on the step of the Capitol building to give a press conference. And so I looked at some other things too, not the conference. I saw
So there you have it, folks. Again, let us loop a couple times so it sinks in that a whole vice president of a country came out yesterday to hoodwink, to deceive, with a contrived statement that he knew was false. And yet he's out here pelling at Debbie Collins, pushing it, Debbie Collins. Now, as I said, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries didn't only release photographs, because it might still say it was a tour, but we happened into the conference room and he gave me a seat because he was passing by. And he was being generous. But the congressman put out a statement. And in the statement he says, last week I hosted, not I saw passing by, I gave him a seat and said take a drink of water. I hosted. They didn't show up unannounced. I hosted a meeting with Aubrey Norton, MP, the opposition leader and members of the parliamentary opposition of the Republic of Guyana. I hosted, he says. You know, one of my law professors would say, and this is Professor Aubrey Bishop, The law is about language and logic. Language and logic. I hosted. That is the senator, the congressman's own words. I hosted. Not a tour. I hosted a meeting with Aubrey Norton. He said several leading congressional Democrats with expertise in foreign affairs, security, and other critical issues to the Western Hemisphere and the Caribbean American community in Brooklyn and across the United States joined us for this important and timely discussion. Many leaders joined him for this important and timely discussion. In the meeting, not in the tour, not on the tour. He says, in the meeting, we discussed a vision for a Guyanese economy and a society that is inclusive, not for boredness, friends, family favorites, and flatterers, but that is inclusive, the congressman says, developed and equitable for everyone, including Afro-Guyanese community, including the Afro-Guyanese community. The members of the opposition underscored the importance of lifting people out of poverty by ensuring economic growth, promoting infrastructural development, and strengthening democratic institutions. Might I read that for you one more time? Thank you for your acquiescence. He says the members of the opposition underscored the importance of lifting people out of poverty, ensuring economic growth, promoting infrastructural development, and strengthening democratic institutions. The opposition leader also expressed concerns with racial inequalities that he felt needed to be addressed, and the importance of equal protection under the law of all Guyanese. That is the Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who Jack Neo says meeting never took place with the parliamentary opposition. They went on a tour. That's what he said. The statement goes on. It didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. We will continue to engage, the congressman says, with our Guyanese counterparts and other regional neighbors and encourage the government and the opposition to work together. Right? No preconditions. No, you have to say you're the Reagan, you attempt to Reagan, you're the Reagan, all that mumbo jumbo. We will encourage them to continue to work together to ensure that all Guyanese citizens, regardless of race or ethnicity, benefit from the growth underway in the South American nation. And all that was part of the guided tour. Good folks, if a whole vice president can come out and lie about a meeting that took place in Washington, several U.S. congressmen were a part of that, what more wouldn't they do? That is the question every Guyanese ought to ask themselves. If you could lie, you get to the stage where you can lie on U.S. congressmen. What else you wouldn't do? I know the trolls can be very quiet this morning. And any one of you can fact check this. It's right on the congressman's page. You type in Facebook, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and you'll see it on his official page. Right at the top. Posted a few hours ago. And yesterday afternoon, Jack, you're out there lying about this conference. Lying. He said you was plenty. He got a couple minutes, but that couple minutes took him an hour and 57 plus minutes to explain yesterday in his press conference. For those of you who are now joining us, hours after that, the US Congress came out. Right? The Democratic leader in the US Congress came out and put out a statement, but it's not the first time. Because brothers and sisters, if you all have been watching closely, they also went to Washington. And Robert Prasad ran out. He said the issues of marginalization, victimization, inequality in wealth distribution never came up. Never came up. And then Congressman Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the United States of America, had to come out again and tell this nation what really transpired in that meeting. Because they know a pack of liars they're dealing with. A pack of liars. And fact check them one more time. Fact check them one more time. Well, he had some other statements about this conference. Take a look, folks. The Washington Conference on Guyana. In the head, folks. They got him past the ambassador.
So this brings me to the much talked about and Washington Conference. So in retrospect, I think Burke is a criminal, but he's very clever. And Burke knows about the charges he's faced here in Guyana, where there are documented cases of him extorting people. And that charges have been laid already against those individuals because they have them on tape documenting, trying to extort businessmen here using social media. Now, Dorian Bess was charged for the same affair too. The same man that they use as the person we're discriminating against, he was charged as part of a plot to extort people. So Rickford Burke is aware that at some point in time that his criminality will catch up with him in the US. And I think the US policymakers would start distancing themselves from his extremism, and because they would now get the facts directly from the government, and they have started to get some of that. So this conference was not about Guyana. This was about safeguarding himself. Secondly, it was a conference to extort and get people to pay money. It was money making. So the reports I got, because we're a big party, we get reports from there. It was a small gathering of individuals, if you look at it. I think the 15 or so who went up from Guyana were probably more than the group in the room. And you notice they didn't give you big crowd shots of the conference. So it was a small gathering. And people had to, of course, pay to go there. And many were non-Guyanese.
Folks, it bothers. It bothers them. It bothers them like nothing else. You see? We were there snapping some photographs, and our impression was quite different. This very small crowd, you know. The conference hadn't even started. People had just started gathering in the auditorium of I can't remember the name of the first place. This is coming to me now, and this was less than half of the room. And the MPs were over Capitol Hill. You know, the MPs were on the way to Capitol Hill. And we snapped up less than half of the room here. Less than half of the room. He said that about 15 or so, and the 15 or so MP was more than those who attended. You see? But this is the nature of the fellow. And he's telling us today that Americans are relying on them for information. This same fellow who yesterday said this meeting with the parliamentary opposition on Capitol Hill never took place. This meeting on Capitol Hill with the parliamentary opposition, it never took place. And they're supplying facts to the American government. Right? They're supplying facts to the American government. Folks, after that meeting on Capitol Hill that we showed you there, let me circle back to some of it. After the meeting on Capitol Hill with Mr. Norton and his parliamentary team, with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and the other congressmen there, fantastic meeting on Capitol Hill. The leader of the opposition issued a statement, and he was responding to some questions I was asking as well on the steps of Capitol Hill. It bothered them that Catfish didn't get a photograph on Capitol Hill, on the steps of the iconic Capitol Hill. It bothers them. All right. Here's Mr. Norton speaking to us.
Leader of the opposition, give us a sense of how the meeting with congressional leaders went.
Well, I think it went extremely well. We were able to identify the critical issues in Guyana. We were able to give them a clear vision of where we want to take Guyana, and I think there was a healthy exchange. We understand some of their interests, where the confluence of interests lies, and we will pursue those issues.
Congresswoman Maxine Walters says, we hear you and we understand. What do you take that you mean?
That she accepts some of her position, but she also proceeded to suggest that they're both sides to a coin, and that she asked for a clear development plan, which we identify the tenants. We also left with her a document that will give a lot of that information. There's a wider dossier that we would have left that would have put all the issues in context in Guyana.
Congressman and Leader Hakeem Jeffries said as part of his intervention that he wants to see inclusivity. They have that hope to see inclusivity as far as possible. Talk to us about that.
Well, I think we did point out that there was little or no inclusivity. There's violation of Article 13 of our Constitution, and I think they place it in the context of their society as well, that is seeking inclusivity, and indicated to us that we need to work towards inclusivity. We have made it clear that we are disposed to inclusivity. In our presentation, we have identified the fact that the government fails to be inclusive. They tend to be arbitrary, and they seem to want to control all the political, economic, and social space and just dominate the society. So I think he's aware of that situation, and it is against that background he would have called for inclusivity.
Penultimate question. There seem to be a lot of questions too on general elections in Guyana and understanding that.
Well, I think they understand the situation. You know that we actually call for a clean voters list in the meeting, as well as biometrics, and to solicit support to ensure that we can get a clean voters list and biometrics. We are of the view that once that happens, you create a playing field that allows for free and fair election, and in that context, we will be the People's Progressive Party.
And finally, sir, congressional leaders seem to have an appetite for an opposition plan for governance. Did you think you had a good opportunity to deliver on that?
But the document we would have provided would have given them clear information on our approach to governance.
We learned that parliamentarian David Patterson was not permitted to come. He was stopped at the airport last evening. What are your thoughts?
Well, we actually said to the meeting that we saw it as in the normal nature of the government's dictatorial and authoritarian ways, and that it was a deliberate attempt to ensure that David Patterson doesn't get the opportunity to come. And that wasn't the only one. There were other things that they did that were aimed at ensuring that people don't come to this conference. Fortunately, we're here, and we were able to point out to them that the treatment of David Patterson is a manifestation of the arbitrary dictatorial way of the government.
Yeah, so there you have it, folks. There you have it, some of what the leader of the opposition said on the steps of Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C., after that very, very historic engagement with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, and other congressmen and congresswomen there of the United States of America, Congress. And I want to reflect back before we hasten on to other issues here, because to show you what we asked as questions gels with what Congressman Jeffries put out in this statement a few hours ago. In the meeting, this is Congressman Hakeem Jeffries stating this on his Facebook page. You can fact check this. In the meeting, we discussed a vision for a Guyanese economy and a society that is inclusive. That's the congressman. We discussed a vision for a Guyanese economy and a society that is inclusive, developed, and equitable for everyone, including the Afro-Guyanese community. The members of the opposition underscored the importance of lifting people out of poverty by ensuring economic growth, promoting infrastructural development, and strengthening democratic institutions. Those are the things we discussed, among others. And again, folks, you can fact check this, as we're fact checking the vice president saying this meeting never happened. And just to tell you, just to show you how Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, they're waiting for information from the PPP because they know it will be skewed. They're listening too. They're getting their independent reports too. And no sooner Vice President Jaglio came out yesterday in a press conference, cussing out everybody, saying this meeting never took place. Here is the congressman, here is the Democratic leader, fact-checking him in real time. And the photo we showed you of a section of the auditorium there, this is the Darcy Hotel. Thanks very much, Elizabeth Howard. Fact-checking me in real time as well. Elizabeth Howard, thank you so much. The Darcy Hotel in Washington, D.C., this is the auditorium there. But I want to hear some issue before the hour elapses. That this vice president should really be focused on things local, because some things are happening in our schools that boggles the mind. I mean, we've always had scuffles in the school system, but these days it seems to be amplified, playing out in real time on social media. And maybe our vice president might want to train some of his attention at the Ministry of Education and some interventions they can be taking at the policy level to stem this tide of violence that we're seeing in our high schools. And what I'm showing you here is Camberville Secondary School, I think it is. And this secondary school in particular seems to need a lot of work where violence and anger management is concerned. They're telling us that a young man from the Camberville Secondary School on Wednesday was rushed to the hospital suffering from 2 broken arms. His father told, I think this is this particular report comes out of the Big Smith News. I think that's where it comes from. Told them that his son was bullied in school by another student, and in the process, he was struck twice with a wood. Yep. He was struck twice with a wood. Both of his arms, according to this report, was broken. What's happening in our schools? Waveney Doris, Veronica Primo Rollins, this is something that they have a direct impact on. The government of the day, the regime of the day. And this was just Wednesday. This was just Wednesday. Within the last month, this is another image we saw at the Campbellville Secondary School as well. One student pummeling another with his feet. And we related to you right here how the mother in anguish said, since this beating incident, this other beating incident at the Campbellville Secondary School, her son was having several fainting spells, head injuries, and all of this caught on camera in real time. But these issues don't make the Vice President's press conference. And so you understand my own angst with some local reporters who go to these press conferences and they only seem to want to cover the where, what, where, and why. They're not taking anything. They're not asking the relevant questions. A whole press conference to determine what happened at the conference in Washington, D.C. The crowd is small. Oh, the food ain't good. Oh, this that happened. Oh, they didn't really meet with anybody. That doesn't affect the bread and butter issues of today in this country. But you see, they're afraid. They are very, very afraid. And what they should be focusing on and prioritizing is on the back burner. Is on the back burner. So you had the issue on Wednesday. Both arms broken. And within the last month, this we're showing you here, this picture is 3 weeks ago at the same school. And I want to say off the bat, it is not only isolated to Campbellville Secondary School, even though we see it acutely there. What's happening in that system there? And in the system countrywide. I think this as well was Campbellville Secondary School after that other incident. Caught on camera again. A female student pummeling another one who sits almost motionless while she's slapped and pushed. No. When you look at them individually, yeah, it's a one-off. But all of this is in the last month, you know. It's in the last month. And all three incidents at the Campbellville Secondary School. But again, I want to hasten to say that this is not isolated to that school alone. You see, we cover them every other week and so on. But when you look at them together, then you see the pattern. And I don't know if Priya's on leave. I don't know if she has taken a couple months managerial leave herself, or vacation, or absent day, or what is it? She's on a sabbatical. But this thing here, no. And I underscore again, this is not only limited to the Campbellville Secondary School, but it's very prevalent there apparently, because these three incidents we show you is the last month. That doesn't move the authorities to action in some way. I'm not an education specialist, but I'm sure those of you who are watching us can tell us what are the interventions that are needed. Whitney Doris says, Sherrod, it's black people cheering to them and K. They don't care. They do not care. Folks, as I said, this is not limited to Campbellville Secondary School. This very week, yesterday, we told you of this. Friendship Secondary on the East Bank. A man's son goes home with lacerations around the neck. The father said the teachers at Friendship seemed oblivious. To what had transpired. Tuesday, this happened at Friendship Secondary School on the East Bank, when a student was strangled into unconsciousness with a rope during a school sports activity. Strangled into unconsciousness. The father, Sheikh Bacchus, expressed dismay that his 13-year-old son had been choked into unconsciousness. He said the teachers and fellow students seemed oblivious. Sheikh Bacchus says, your child goes to school and comes home like this, and the teachers and students didn't see how or who choked him with a rope until he fainted. You understand what's happening here in the wild, wild west of a country that we have? And Jack Joe spends an hour and a half, hour and 57 minutes, going on 2 hours on a conference that Rick Fredberg had hosted with his organization and other allied organizations in the diaspora in Washington, D.C. That is what consumes the executive. What happened at the Darcy Hotel in Washington and what happened at the press club, that is what consumed him and consumes him. That is where we are, unfortunately. That is where we are. Listen to some of what your old boy said in that press conference yesterday. Took aim at us. Took aim at us. Not Friendship Secondary School. Not Campbellville Secondary and the others where we're seeing this consistent pattern of violence. No. At us and what we're doing.
I thought it was the international media who was talking to them. And then I realized it's the Sherrod Duncan. They walk with Sherrod Duncan as their media. Now, they held this conference in the press club. Imagine you holding this in the building that you're holding it is in the press club, but you didn't mobilize a single U.S. press to interview you or carry any of your stories. You had to get your Sherrod Duncan, who kept posting at the bottom of the feed, donate, donate, donate to me, all the time, donate. It looked like they were raising money there. I saw one man asking for $100 each. They were going to raise a fund to invest in Guyana and put in $100 each at the conference. I thought it was the international media who was talking to them. And then I realized it's the Sherrod Duncan. They walk with Sherrod Duncan as their media. Now, they held this conference in the press club. Imagine you holding this in the building that you're holding it is in the press club, but you didn't mobilize a single U.S. press to interview you or carry any of your stories. You had to get your Sherrod Duncan, who kept posting at the bottom of the feed, donate, donate, donate to me, all the time, donate. It looked like they were raising money there. I saw one man asking for $100 each. They were going to raise a fund to invest in Guyana and put in $100 each at the conference.
So this is what consumes them. What we do at this end, we have to keep our enterprise going. They got Chronicles that nobody reads. They got they got NCN that nobody's concerned with. But we bothering them. You see? We bothering them. And I'm happy you mentioned that because it provides the perfect segue. We said unapologetically, we don't run on water. We wish we did. We wish we had the resources the government had to produce credible, valid information that people can actually use and be guided by. Because if you have sound information, you can make some decision. He's sitting up there using government media to lie to the nation. Oh, it was a guided tour. But he's upset that we were there to show that this thing actually happened. Valid and credible information, and we will continue to do so. Folks, I say it without apology. We need your help continually to keep moving forward. Right? We are building a house in Prattville 3, buying big vehicles and so on. Every cent we receive goes back into these programs. And we encourage you to come on board with us. You see the fight and the stress and the strain we're under, having to deal with these jagabats and trench crappos. And we invite you guys via Zelle and Cash App and PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union, the whole lot of the platforms. Just for your convenience, we have all of them. For your convenience. And we don't say it in any braggadocious way. For your convenience, we have a link. You can, very secure, the folks set it up for us. We can accept your debit and credit card and your contribution. We need your support to keep doing what we do here. It doesn't come cheap. And that is why we had to go in the diaspora and do what we do, because if we rely on them, you think you can see Aubrey Norton in Chronicle? On Capitol Hill? You can see him on NCN? You see a report yet at NCN? We can see the newsroom? Oh, you will see all the negative. No meeting ever took place, Jack Dio. That can be the headline. Jack Dio says, no meeting of the opposition ever took place in Washington, D.C. No meeting ever took place. You know, that proverb is right. Absolutely right. Until the lions have their own historians, you know, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. Until the lions have their own historians, the tale of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. So we must not raise money for our enterprise. They must go to Queens and to where else they go and raise money, you see, to keep down people in this country. But we mustn't do so. We mustn't go to Washington. We mustn't meet with congressmen and so on. That's what we're dealing with here. And that is why we're out front. November, 3 years, bring you guys credible, valid information. And we're committed to that. And we encourage you guys to keep partnering with us, because without your help, we can't do this. It costs us something. It costs us something to keep the lights on, the door open, and the internet going. It costs us something. And so we thank you for your love, your support, and your generosity. Who vex? Keep watching. But the attention should really be on the issues that are affecting our society, like what's happening in our schools. You send your children to school, people choking them, you know, beating them up, breaking their hands, slapping them up. Those issues should cause them sleepless nights. But no, it's Burke. It's the Washington Conference in Guyana. It's a meeting on Capitol Hill that's giving them sleepless nights. And they don't want us to raise funds to keep doing what we do. You see? But there's no other way. This is what happens all over the world. Politicians raise money for politics, for political issues. Now, ours at this end, one of ours at this end is the PR push. And then ensuring that you get valid, credible information. Now, what a down thing. Imagine if you all just listen to him alone. Yesterday afternoon, you say, them boys lie, them boys went to Washington. It's a guided tour, they meet with nobody. It's a guided tour. It's a guided tour they went on. They didn't really meet nobody. Here Roseanne say, I can see housewives calling up each other, leaning over the fence. Girl, here Roseanne say yesterday. It's a tour they went on, they didn't meet nobody. When they went, nobody went home. It's a tour they went on. Every aspect of this conference was scrutinized. How many people were there? Who gave what? When you look, you will see one in the comment section. to tell you how much time you have on your hand. I see in the comment section, donate, donate, donate. Why does that bother him? Why does that bother them? You got oil blocks, millions and billions. You are thieving and siphoning out. It's donate, donate, and bothering them. Every aspect of this conference was scrutinized. And the issues that confronting us as a nation, eluding them. Folks, that's going to do it for us this morning on our broadcast. For your information, that's going to do it for us. Share the live, smash the emoji button, good folks, and partner with us as well. Yeah, we're going to see you guys in the next broadcast. Take good care and have a great rest of the day. Share the live, smash that emoji button, folks, and partner with us. Who vex? Who vex? Who vex? That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe.